Parshas Vayigash, we have the story of Yosef reveals himself to his brothers, and he tells them to go and bring Yaakov and the whole family down to Mitzrayim. He said, Hashem sent me to be a means for our survival through this famine. And you should bring the family down to Mitzrayim. So the Torah tells us at the end of Perek Memhei how they came and they told Yaakov, and it says they told him, "Oh Yosef Chai." Not only that, but he's running Mitzrayim. His heart rejected it; he couldn't believe them. And when they told him all the words that Yosef told him, and then he saw the agolos that Yosef sent to carry them, then that revived Yaakov's spirits. Many different pshatim here, but the standard pshat is the pshat of Rashi, that he didn't believe them until he saw the agolos. And he saw the wagons that Yosef sent as a siman, that this is the last sugya we were learning together, then that revived him. The Medrash explains, then he saw that Yosef is still holding by the sugya that we were learning together. I see that he's the same Yosef that I lost, that all those years didn't take a toll on him. Then Vaytechi Ruach Yaakov Avihim. Spoke about this at length last year. You can look it up on the podcast to reach out to me for the recording. Wanted to speak this year a little bit about the Vayafeg Libo Ki Ohem Elohem. That Yaakov didn't believe them. The question, did Yaakov think they were pulling his leg? Why wouldn't Yaakov believe them when they all come and tell him? They come back B'Simcha with Binyamin and wagons, and they come and they tell him that Yosef is, not only is he alive, but he's actually been successful in Mitzrayim. So there's an Avos D'Rabbi Nosson at the end of Perek Lamed. Rabbi Shimon says this is the punishment of a badai, of someone who spins lies. That even when they say emes, they don't listen to him. Because this is what we find by the sons of Yaakov, that they deceived their father, and in the beginning he believed them. It says that Vayichu es ksonas Yosef vayishchatu series, and they took Yosef's coat and they shechted a goat. And it says Vayakira v'yomer ksonas b'ni, and he recognized and he said, this is Yosef's coat. I mean, they never actually lied to Yaakov directly, but they showed him the coat and they led him to believe that Yosef had been murdered. In the end, even when they spoke emes before him, he didn't believe them. At the end of the day, Yaakov didn't believe them until Vayaris HaGalos. Interestingly, the Avos D'Rabbi Nosson brings another pshat, that the pshat in Vaytechi Ruach Yaakov Avihim is a pshat that Yaakov Avinu, the Ruach HaKodesh, returned to him when they came and told him, and that was how he was able to see that Yosef was alive. Interesting pshat, different from Rashi. But his first pshat is that Kach Onshel Shabbat. This is the punishment for someone who doesn't tell the truth. So this is a similar medrash. It brings the same basic idea in Bereshis Rabbah Tzadi Dalet Gimel. And the Eitz Yosef there actually says the pshat is that Yaakov suspected them of not telling the truth. I think what he says is that Yaakov suspected them of not telling the truth by Yosef originally, and that's part of why they had lost their credibility. He didn't believe them now. But the way I saw a sefer trying to say that that's the pshat in Avos D'Rabbi Nosson, maybe change the girsa, but the way I read the Avos D'Rabbi Nosson, and Baruch Hashem, I have notes from my Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Grumblatt's Orchos Yosher Shir that he gave after the passing of Chaim Kanievsky, and I see that he learned even the Medrash, the way that I would read this Avos D'Rabbi Nosson, that this is not a lack of credibility. The brothers, they deceived Yosef, they deceived Yaakov once in their life, and it's even a machlokas. Rabbi Grumblatt brought some machlokas in the Rishonim. One of the Das Kena at the beginning of Vayechi, Yaakov never really found out the story of what happened. So it wasn't that they lost credibility. It's rather kach onshel shel badai. This is the punishment of a badai, that he loses, that they don't believe him. I think the pshat Yaakov was not able to believe them. It was a punishment on the Bnei Yaakov, that because they had done this trickery with Yaakov this one time, he was unable to believe them. And Idea Chazal were warning us that this is a punishment Hashem brings upon a person who's deceitful. It just underscores the importance of being honest, being people of integrity, meaning people who speak the truth and who live the truth. We know Chosama HaKadosh Baruch Hu Emes, that the seal of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Emes. It's one of the most essential midos a person needs to have. I remember hearing in yeshiva, they said that they asked the yeshiva what's the best midah to work on. Obviously, there's no one size fits all, but an idea of working on Emes, that even with the Rashiv says that even with tremendous fear of heaven, a person still can trick himself with all these negios that we have. People, I try to do the right thing, but who says what's the right thing? I think this is the right thing. I think the Mesilas Yesharim talks about how the Yetzer Hara causes us to see a pillar like something, like a person like a pillar, that the world is darkness, that the Yetzer Hara totally gets us to see what's right is wrong, what's wrong is right. And that's why a person needs the midah of emes to be able to be honest with himself deep down and overcome such midah, such negios. And it's interesting, we find the idea that there's heterim sometimes to be mishanim ne'ashalom, to change from the truth because of peace. That's a big machlokas in the poskim. Is that a heter to say a bald-faced lie, or is it that you're allowed in that situation to say something which can be taken in two different directions? Like, is that the explanation of the Kala Noah of Chassidus Sugya? That be able to say something that can be taken in two different directions, but not to say in bald-faced lie. It seems that Chaim Kanievsky paskins that way. Then only something that can be taken in two different directions. Yeah. Just underscoring the effect we have to worry about, the effect that such sheker could have on us, could have on our midah of emes. And I think people, could be I'm wrong, but I think that people have a natural nitiya towards saying the emes. I don't think people become like politicians who just get up and say bald-faced lies overnight. I think it's something that a person develops over time by destroying their midas emes. I think it's something that we have to be sensitive to. Tremendously important midah. I'll give a quick plug. Somebody I know started something called the Sfas Tamim Foundation, where they send out a weekly newsletter, different Torah and ideas about the midas emes, just to reinforce the centrality of the midah, the importance of the midah. People can reach out to me for the contact info to get involved with that. And may we be zocheh to walk in the path of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, develop the midas emes, strengthen ourselves in it, and grow in all of our areas of Avodas Hashem. Have a wonderful Shabbos.